Hold up, Browns Nation. What I'm about to tell you is going to make your blood boil, and frankly, it should. While we're all sitting here dreaming about playoff runs and championship parades, our front office might be making the biggest mistake in franchise history. And it's happening right under our noses. Picture this. You've got a young quarterback who's lighting up preseason games, showing the kind of arm talent and field vision that makes scouts salivate. And what does Cleveland do? They bury him so deep on the depth chart, he might as well be playing for the practice squad. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders, and the way this organization is handling him is absolutely mind-boggling. Now, before we dive into this mess, let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't just another quarterback controversy. This is about whether the Cleveland Browns actually want to win a Super Bowl or if they're content being mediocre forever. Because right now, they're choosing mediocrity, and it's infuriating. Here's what's really happening behind closed doors. Kevin Stefanski has made it abundantly clear that Shedeur Sanders isn't even in the conversation for starting quarterback. Not this season, maybe not ever. Instead, they're rolling with 40-year-old Joe Flacco as their number one guy. Let that sink in for a moment. 40 years old. In a league where quarterbacks are getting younger and more athletic every single year, we're putting our Super Bowl hopes on a guy who should probably be coaching high school football by now. But here's where it gets really insulting to your intelligence as Browns fans. Shedeur isn't just riding the bench behind Flacco. He's not even getting reps with the first-team offense in practice. Think about that. This is a kid who dominated in the preseason, who has the kind of natural talent that you can't teach, and they won't even let him practice with the starters. It's like buying a Ferrari and keeping it locked in the garage because you're afraid to drive it. ESPN's Tony Rizzo went absolutely nuclear on this topic, and honestly, he said what we're all thinking. He called out the Browns management for essentially wasting Sanders' talent, for asking this young quarterback to develop in the shadows while they lean on a fossil like Flacco, who everyone knows is just a placeholder. Rizzo's point was simple and devastating. If you really believe in Shedeur's potential, you'd give him a real chance to compete. Instead, they're treating him like he's some sort of liability. And let's talk about what we saw in preseason, because this isn't just hype or wishful thinking. Shedeur Sanders looked like everything we've been missing at quarterback for the past 2 decades. The arm strength, the pocket presence, the ability to read defenses and make quick decisions under pressure. He showed flashes of being a legitimate franchise quarterback, the kind of player you build your entire offense around. Yet somehow, the brain trust in Berea thinks Joe Flacco gives us a better chance to win. The quarterback room situation is a complete disaster, and I don't think people fully understand how bad this is. You've got Flacco, who's basically playing on borrowed time. You've got Kenny Pickett, who couldn't even hold down the starting job in Pittsburgh. Then there's Dillon Gabriel, a third-round pick who's still completely unproven. And at the bottom of this mess, you have Shedeur Sanders, who might actually be the most talented quarterback in the entire building, getting treated like an afterthought. This is where the story gets even more complex, because we're not just talking about any young quarterback here. Shedeur's father is Deion Sanders, one of the most iconic athletes in sports history. The pressure on this kid is unimaginable, and to his credit, he's handling it with remarkable maturity. He specifically asked his father not to come to training camp because he wants to prove himself on his own merits, not ride on his dad's legendary reputation. That takes serious character, the kind of mental toughness you want in a franchise quarterback. But here's what's really telling about this situation. Cam Newton, who knows a thing or two about being a quarterback in this league, warned that having Deion show up to Browns training camp could be a major distraction. Newton pointed out that no other young quarterback has their Hall of Fame father watching practice, and teams prefer to keep things simple and focused. He quoted Bill Belichick's famous mantra, "Don't be a distraction." The fact that Shedeur understands this and is actively avoiding potential drama shows the kind of football IQ and team-first mentality that should have the Browns salivating. Instead, they're playing it safe with veterans, and playing it safe is exactly how you end up watching the playoffs from your couch year after year. The Browns have been searching for a franchise quarterback for literally decades. We've watched parade after parade of mediocre signal callers come through Cleveland, each one promising to be different, each one ultimately disappointing us. And now, when we might actually have found our guy, when we might have a legitimate answer to our quarterback prayers, the organization is too scared to pull the trigger. Let me paint you a picture of what this really means for our Super Bowl window. We've got Myles Garrett in his prime, absolutely terrorizing opposing quarterbacks. We've got one of the most talented rosters in the AFC, with playmakers on both sides of the ball who are ready to compete right now. Our window isn't 5 years from now, it's right now, this season, maybe next season if we're lucky. And we're wasting it because we're afraid to trust a young quarterback who might actually be special. The most frustrating part of all this is that development takes time, and time is exactly what we don't have. If Flacco gets hurt, which at 40 years old is practically inevitable, who steps in? Kenny Pickett, who couldn't cut it in Pittsburgh. Dylan Gabriel, who's never taken a meaningful NFL snap. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders sits on the bench, watching his development stagnate because the coaching staff won't even give him the chance to fail. And make no mistake, this isn't just about this season. This is about the next 5 years of Browns football. If we don't develop Shedeur now, if we don't give him the reps and the experience he needs to grow, we could be looking at another decade of quarterback instability. We could be right back where we started, cycling through veterans and draft picks, hoping one of them might magically transform into the franchise quarterback we've been searching for since the team came back in 1999. The preseason performance wasn't a fluke, and it wasn't just garbage time statistics against third-string defenses. Shedeur showed real command of the offense, real understanding of what Kevin Stefanski is trying to accomplish. He made throws that Flacco simply can't make anymore, showed mobility that could open up entire new dimensions of the playbook. Yet somehow, the coaching staff looked at all of that and decided it wasn't good enough to earn even a chance to compete for the starting job. This is bigger than just football strategy. It's about organizational philosophy. Are we a team that takes calculated risks to achieve greatness, or are we a team that plays it safe and settles for mediocrity? Right now, it looks like we're choosing the safe, boring option, and that should terrify every Browns fan who's dreaming of hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. The clock is ticking on our championship window, and every practice where Shedeur isn't getting first-team reps is a wasted opportunity. Every game where he's watching from a sideline instead of learning on the field is development time we can never get back. The Browns have a chance to be proactive instead of reactive for once in their existence, to develop their quarterback of the future while they still have a championship-caliber roster around him. But if the season starts and we're still trotting out Joe Flacco as our starter, if Shedeur is still buried on the depth chart behind guys who couldn't win starting jobs anywhere else, then we'll know exactly what kind of organization we're dealing with. We'll know that the Browns are more interested in avoiding criticism than they are in winning championships. The drama in Cleveland is far from over, and honestly, it shouldn't be. This quarterback situation is going to define not just this season, but the next several years of Browns football. The question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders has the talent to be our franchise quarterback, because anyone with eyes can see that he does. The question is whether this organization has the courage to give him that chance. So here's what I need from you, Browns Nation. If you're as frustrated by this situation as I am, if you think Shedeur Sanders deserves a real shot to compete for the starting job, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of every twist and turn in this quarterback controversy, make sure you're subscribed to Browns Breakout, because this story is just getting started. Hit that like button to let the algorithm know that Browns fans demand better from their team. The stakes have never been higher, the talent has never been more obvious, and the opportunity has never been more clear. Whether the Cleveland Browns seize this moment or let it slip away will tell us everything we need to know about what kind of franchise they really want to be. The choice is theirs, but the consequences will be ours to live with. And right now, they're making the wrong choice.